8-Bit Christmas. I saw a thing for it, and I was like, "Oh man, I started reading the concept. I was like, brilliant! It's my movie. It's my childhood."
Strength.
We're back.
Okay, so we're back. So I think that we're now going to George.
So my movie, it's 8-Bit Christmas. It's
Are we going to see it?
And let's watch the trailer before it. That's crazy.
Every kid has that one gift they want more than anything for Christmas. This is the story of mine.
Bookends?
And they have baseballs on them.
I see that.
No, not those. Nintendo. A maze of rubber wiring and electronic intelligence so advanced it was deemed not a video game, but an 8-bit entertainment system.
No Nintendo in my house.
I second that.
Looks like a no-go on Nintendo.
I needed a Christmas miracle. The year was 1987, or was it 88? Super Bowl was in 86.
Okay, does it really matter, Dad?
Okay. The year was the late 80s. I was 11 years old.
Did you wear a helmet?
Yeah, we always wore helmets in the 80s. Me and my friends would do anything just to play one.
Any of you huddle masters want to play? What have you brought me?
I got a goldfish!
Untraceable cash money.
It's the final countdown.
One thing became clear. I needed to get my own.
This is bigger than Christmas.
The final countdown.
This is our Vietnam.
I don't think that means what you think it means.
I have no idea what it means. We're gonna get in so much trouble.
Sometimes during Christmas, just when you think that all hope is lost, something magical happens.
Sold out in 20 minutes. Suddenly, one woman punched her grandma right in the throat. Same family, too.
Are you making all this up?
No way.
Did you guys hear in the reselling contest?
First prize is a brand new Nintendo Entertainment System.
I'm gonna kill you.
Hold on.
There are no rules. That Nintendo's mine.
What do you want?
Wanna buy a wreath?
Ma, this kid thinks your wreath sucks.
Video games have been doing all kinds of strange things to children.
What?
It was the 80s. Stuff got real.
Alrighty, jeez. See if I remove my nose now. Now that the Kieran is kicking in. So the 8-Bit Christmas. I saw a thing for it, and I was like, "Oh man, I started reading the concept. I was like, brilliant! It's my movie. It's my childhood." So basically, in the 80s, like you see in the trailer, it's well, first of all, the movie starts with Neil deGrasse Tyson. No, not Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Jason
Neil Patrick Harris. There he goes.
Patrick
Yeah, he's gonna tell the stars. No, Neil Patrick Harris, no, Doogie Howser, who his daughter wants she wants a phone really bad, but he's telling her no, he doesn't want to get it for her. So he starts telling her, and then he goes into his mother's house, which is her grandma, and he sees the Nintendo Entertainment System right there. So he sits down and starts playing with her, and he decides to tell her the story of how he got that Nintendo system. So and then we go do a flashback to the 80s, which is really funny. I thought they really at times I felt like I was watching an 80s film, like those
Yes.
like Weird Science or those kind of the ones with or the Pretty in Pink. Or those, I forgot what's the director that did all those 80s movies. With
Breakfast Club.
It's a Christmas story by way of it's the same.
And it's identical. It reminded me of two things. It reminded me of Christmas Story, and it reminded me of
Sandlot.
Well, the Sandlot and the one with Peter Falk tells the kid the story.
Oh, sure.
Yes, Princess Bride. That's
Princess Bride.
exactly what I
Yeah.
thought.
Princess
That
Bride
is
too.
exactly what I thought. With the father telling the
Yes, it reminded me of that too.
Yes.
I thought again Neil Patrick Harris. I thought he was brilliant. He was so funny. He's really got the chops. Like he makes a great dad. And then I really love the kids too. They were just so great. They were classic. kind of like the Sandlot. The
Yeah.
main kid, which is Neil Patrick's child, the kid version of him, he was classic. His face, his expressions, and all the shenanigans that they get into. And also the movie. Well, of course, they want to get into the only serious thing about the movie is that they all want to get this Nintendo, but in the town all the parents think gaming is bad. It's a game. They want to ban gaming because it's wrong and the kids are gonna their brains turn to mush, and so now they have to deal with that as well. But the whole movie is just them trying to get, and there's so many different scenarios that happen where they can.
But there's that one kid, the
and
rich
then they have
kid.
the one bully kid too. Oh, there's that one kid who could remind me of one of those kids from Say Anything or What's His Face. Those kind of characters from the 80s. That one kid that's a rich family. He's the only one with a Nintendo, and everybody's wants to go play, so they all give him gifts. So it has like those kind of really funny moments. And the kids were the classic too. His little friend that they kind of remind me like I was watching an 80s film. Anyways, but yeah, I enjoyed it. It's a nostalgic film.
Bob?
Oh, okay. As we were approaching this taping, I was thinking, all right, now I know I watched 5 movies. What was that? I remember 4. What was the other one? And it was, and so last night I said, all right, I'm going to watch it again. It's the 8-Bit Christmas. I love this movie. This movie is wonderful. Neil Patrick Harris does such a great job in it. Steve Zahn playing the father is just wonderful.
Oh my God, he's great.
The actress, she has 3 names, and she's part of a comedy troupe, I think.
Oh, that June Diane Raphael.
Yeah. It's like Upright Citizens Brigade or something like that.
I don't know. I just knew. I thought
But she was
the
so
parents
perfect.
were so
she
good
was so
at it.
perfect.
Yeah.
The kid who plays the lead, his name is either Winslow or Winston Fegley.
Winslow.
His brother
Winslow
played the
Fegley,
lead in Pete's Dragon, in the remake of Pete's Dragon, and that's a family. Those kids are kids to watch because they're all great. This kid was terrific. He carried the movie, and all the supporting parts were wonderful. But he carried the movie. I mean, the guys in the gang together. That's why I say to me, this movie is like a Christmas story by way of Sandlot, because it has all the it has a wonderful nostalgic narration by Neil Patrick Harris. I remember. I mean, I went through some of this stuff about Nintendo, but I was in my 40s. It was like really exciting to me that there was. Oh wow, there's something you can just like play on the TV, and I got that original thing with the duck hunting thing where you had that dopey gun, and we were talking about it before, the robot that came with it.
And I had the same thing with the robot too. Should I come over to your place? I know you then. I was except for that part.
Advanced when I can't find any of the things that play this stuff
might not have
anymore.
met up.
Yeah, right.
I will say this, though, caveat on that, though, I was like, my eyesight was great until I started playing Nintendo and I started having eye problems. But everything about this was wonderful. I mean, the whole commando raid to get the last Cabbage Patch doll in Chicago, I think is what this is.
And David Cross, who plays that.
David Cross was wonderful. That's right. David Cross was in it, too. And everybody in this was just pitch perfect. It was wonderful, and I really teared up several times at this movie. Yeah. I mean, I did it Love Actually too, and I think the only 2 I didn't were Medea and that awful Brazilian movie. But the others caught my Christmas spirit. Now, I will say one thing I wanted to say about Love Actually before, and we didn't get to it, is like.
We haven't talked about it yet.
We haven't done it yet.
Yes.
Oh, we haven't. I thought.
No.
Oh, well, never mind. Never mind. These kids. I mean, the big kid who was like
perfect.
He was like, what? This kid looked like he had to be like 16, 18 years old. There were guys like that.
It's
in the narration, he describes him. We know he was in whatever grade, but. Well, I don't know for how many years or so.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful movie. So it really is. It's like a perfect Christmas movie because it really is about. And the ending is great.
Yes,
the ending is great. I mean, there's sadness in it, but the ending is great. Mm-hmm. The payoff to it is absolutely great. I can't say enough about how much I like this movie because watching it again the second time, I liked it even more. I was picking up on more stuff, and the kids are just so perfectly cast. Yeah. They really are a great team, and you are so rooting for these guys when they take this trip, this bizarre trip where everything's going to go wrong. Everything goes wrong, but they're so committed to it. They're just so committed to it, and the actors were so committed to these parts. It really did remind me of, I wouldn't say better movies, but other movies. But I think I would put it up there with Christmas Story.
Every kid has a particular talent that they use in the movie.
Yeah,
too, like the liar kid and the kid that throws up.
Absolutely, it's a wonderful movie. I highly recommend this one.
Yeah, Bob, I totally agree with you. I love this movie, and like the Christmas Story, I thought that it's right up there with it. And you could, but when you're kids, things are a certain way. So when you do things about kids, it's going to be kind of the same, because I don't mean that it's just the way kids are,
right?
So that and that's why it works, because it's kind of perfect. It's like, yeah, kids are like that,
right?
And these are like basically boys with a couple of girls in there, I think, but basically they're boys.
Well, yeah, the sister. I mean, the sister is terrific too, and both of this, his sister, and I guess it would be his daughter.
And they have his friends too, the twins. So there was that one present because the twins, the girl and the boy.
But that also, that's another thing. That's what it was like with those Cabbage Patch dolls.
Yes,
they were selling out. There were people selling them black market out of the back of cars and stuff like that. For like $100.
I know. I had a child at that time.
Yeah.
My
to
girl.
Put it into current perspective, it's like trying to get a PS5 now.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, that for the girls, the Cabbage Patch Kids. The pet dolls were really it, and the Nintendo, I guess, for boys. I never had one, so I had no idea what they
do.
It had to be the redheaded one with freckles. The blonde one with freckles wasn't right.
The redheaded one with freckles.
Okay, so the children, especially the boys who grew up in the 80s, will really love this movie, because it's very similar to the Christmas Story. But I'm sure you all wanted a Nintendo, and I'm sure you all could relate to this. I say the reason these are classic is because they're always true. They're true to the way it was. And George is right. Like, even the film looked like 80s film, kind of like when we did the one on the Black Phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 80s look like the 80s. The kids look like the 80s.
I was just thinking, I don't know why I thought about this, but with the sister, great relationship with the sister, where she wants and he's like to the father, well, why are you going through these lengths to get the Cabbage Patch in the alley and under a bridge? Do you want to piss off your sisters?
And he's like, yeah, you're right. Okay, so replace in the Christmas Story, replace the Red Ryder BB gun with the OJ Nintendo, right? And a little bit of Princess Bride.
Yes.
With Neil Patrick Harris.
Harris.
Narrating as Peter Falk did in that, and
the Wonder Years too.
Yeah, and the Wonder Years,
and as Gene Shepard did in the Christmas Story.
Well, funny enough, he was also narrating with Fred Savage.
Right,
I like the formula. It really worked for me. I like this formula. It's perfect for Christmas. It is another one you should put on your list.
Yeah.
How you bring out your Christmas stuff. There's also, you bring out your Christmas movies at Christmas time. And this should be one of your movies. It's great.
Oh, I love this movie. And I've never heard of it. Never heard of it. And I tell you the truth, I didn't know what 8-bit Christmas was.
Because you're a girl like me.
Well, now I know. But one thing I always love with kids' movies is, do the kids look like kids of that time? And every one of them did. And every one of those kids I had in my class, the bully, the real prickly asshole that, has everything. And it does that, basically. It was exaggerated.
The kid with the allergies.
Yeah, the kid with the allergies. It just, and the parents were totally like parents of the 80s. Yeah. So when that kind of formula is put together, they can do no wrong to me. The story was cute. It's pretty expected. They need something, they want something, they got to get something, and then how they go get it. But in some places, especially when, funny enough, the guy saying, "So who wants to play Nintendo?" I felt so bad for some of those kids, especially the guy that had the fish.
Oh, yeah.
I just felt so bad for him. And the bad guy, the bad kid, His name was Animal. Nicest guy, but boy, if he didn't like you, he beat the crap out of everybody.
It looked like he could have played with the Ramones.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
The thing I didn't mention was how great that father was. I know
Steve
that
Zahn.
actor. I don't know.
Steve Zahn.
Steve.
But remember,
He was amazing. He was great.
But also talking to the mother,
Yeah.
she was a teacher, and that's the scene where they're doing. It's gonna be snow there. They're gonna stay home.
Yeah.
And they go, nope, everybody's got to school, and the kids are upset. The mom's like, son of a bitch. But she has to go to school too.
But it's so true. Nobody stayed home from snow.
Not in my
Not
fire.
Well, not
family.
in Canada.
I
I'm
remember
sorry.
having 100
There is
fever,
no
and my
snow
mother
there.
said,
Oh,
we
we-
used to wear dresses. We didn't have.
Fairfax County, Virginia, we were always the first one to close. So you get that 3 inches. Oh, school's closed. It's like, great.
When people say snow day, I
remember
go,
going
what's a
over
snow?
like that.
I go, yeah.
Well,
I
also the
remember
way
that,
the way they
crossing the
did that too,
field.
where one of them says like, our school never closes, and they're sitting there listening on the radio, and the guy goes, and so and so closed, and so and so closed, and well, that's it. And
And the famous
But
saying
even
in
the mother's
Canada
looking
was,
forward to it.
it's just snow, for Christ's sake. And I remember going up things that were normal flats, you'd go over with these high boots with the high
Snow
boots.
drifts.
You know,
and
like we had to
things,
go for. I'm not kidding you. We had to go like at least a half a mile to elementary school.
Yeah. And
we
then
had-
Ridgeway, I had to go at least, 2 miles?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you walked. I mean, there were buses.
Nobody
ever took a bus.
My God, what a waste of money. Nobody would
British
even
parents.
think of that.
Yeah.
we took the bus because it was free.
We would never think of it. We didn't have school buses.
Yeah. Or bicycles. We never bicycled to school.
Hard in the winter.
No, I mean in the summer.
Well, there's no school in the summer.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think. Even bicycling, I don't remember ever having a bike.
I remember people bicycling.
Yeah, but
because
not us.
I remember seeing the racks, but no, not us.
No, not us.
Back to a bit.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So that's what I
Oh, okay. Well, I probably liked it less than all you did. My thing is that I can't. I will say this. I think it is a great, great family Christmas movie. That's what sort of surprised me.
Right.
Because when it starts off, because I said exactly what you did. I wrote that down. This reminds me of Peter Falk and Fred Savage from Princess Bride. Because even at one point, he tells the daughter, like midway through the movie, oh, let's take a break. Said,
Yes.
well, no, let's keep going, right?
Yeah.
So she's really interested in the story. He has hooked her, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I thought and that's what I appreciate about the movie. It had to always do, in my opinion, with the family, his family specifically, because I love Steve Zahn playing the father
Me
and
too.
Oh my God, he
June
was
Diane
great.
Raphael. I thought as a mother,
Yes.
they were wonderful in it. That's the reason I actually
They were
watched the whole
perfect.
movie. Now the kids, you're right. I think the kids were just all workable and things, but I wasn't relating or engaging with the kids. See, that was my problem because I thought, oh, I don't get this, you know.
Didn't you grow up in Hawaii?
Well, no, I grew up all over, but then my thing was literally, it's like, okay, I didn't have friends like that. So I didn't grow in one town where you had like 8, 9 friends. I had basically every time I went someplace, I had no friends. So the funny part is, it was the family part. And you're right, his relationship with his sister, I guess the actress is Bella Luna Resnick. I always like it when the little sister's actually smarter because we always heard how girls are more sophisticated.
They are at that,
right, and
at
everything.
that age, yes.
So the fact that she says, well, if you help me get this, I'll help get you what you want. And of course, she's dead on. She does he tells her what to do. And I thought, that is sort of smart. I like that. So it was just sort of funny. And again, it also reflected at times because I do remember how they kept saying how video games are too violent, they cause a problem. And that's what actually happens in the movie. There's sort of an incident that causes I think Timmy's father is like a psychiatrist or something. And he's the one who gets on the pedestal saying, oh no, see how it behaved? Look what they did to my dog, not blaming his son for what they do to the dog, right? So it's stuff like that.
And we won't say what happened to the dog.
And so the dog lives, don't worry. But the funny part it was just sort of weird. It's like, okay, that's what I sort of appreciated. But I had to admit, it did remind me of A Christmas Story. It's just that this is something, a generation I cannot relate to. So that's why I thought, you know what? I will always be a Christmas Story fan. I'll always watch A Christmas. Here's, like you said, a new generation. Here's your version, I think, of A Christmas Story, because everyone can relate to that. I mean, I could not relate to getting a BB gun because I never wanted a BB gun. But the nostalgia of what old-fashioned Christmas was, And this, to me, also had that exact same old-fashioned Christmas. Because you're right, Bob. I think the ending is wonderful.
Yeah.
I love the ending. Except here's a spoiler because I was confused. He never explains how he got.
He does.
Yeah,
Oh, he does.
He does.
Okay, because see, that's what I didn't quite understand.
Oh,
At
well,
the
that-
end.
I caught it just last night. There's a reference when early on he says, "Don't go. You don't have to shovel up the poop behind the shed." So obviously we can't see what's going on behind the shed.
Well, no. But see, that's what I'm saying. But that's not when he gets it.
No, he tells her.
something
No,
else.
he tells her. I'll tell
Oh,
you without being spoiled.
okay,
He tells her how.
good. Because that was the only
Because
thing.
she asked him the same
It's
question.
like, wait, did I miss something? Because what ultimately happens is she does understand exactly like what she's gonna get and not gonna get, and I thought that's exactly why he's telling the story. I thought that was a really important point because after watching the Fred Claus about every child deserves a toy, but then it's like, they only used to ask for one toy. Now they're asking for 10 toys, and that's the problem with Christmas. Right?
Yeah.
And so now when he explains it to her about the one thing that you want the most, it's like, don't expect it. Right? So my thing is like, okay, I have to appreciate this movie as being a true Christmas movie. I just couldn't relate to it. And, and that's because of my age and maybe because I'm stunted with that, in the 80s. But that's why, like I said, when George picked it, I said, oh, I know exactly why he picked it. That's him.
Well,
he wanted that Nintendo.
Well, here's a true
or
story.
whatever that.
I mean, this is an actual true story. Which you'll see. There's a scene in the movie that it reminded me of that. When I was a kid too, we were at Sodi's. Sodi's back in the early 80s. There was a Sodi's store.
Zodi's? You might not have been here.
Yeah.
You know Zodi's?
No, never
Back in
heard
the
of
80s.
it.
You know Zodi's?
Okay, so we were shopping with my
I
mother.
have no idea what you're talking about. What is it?
Zodi's?
It was anyway, store in the 80s.
It's kind of like
You don't mean
Kmart.
Zellers.
I'm sorry, what?
It's kind of like
Kmart?
Kmart, but
It doesn't
way
exist now,
before.
but it was big in the
And
80s.
actually, where the
I
Food
guess they
Plus,
didn't have back
Food
east.
for Less is, that's where Zodi's used to be.
Anyway, so here's
don't
my.
remember it all.
You'll see something in the movie that might remind you. This is my story. We were at Sodi's, and I went to the video game section and I started playing the game. And I was just playing the game okay, same thing. Suddenly I felt my hand on my ear, and just yanked my ear. It was my mother. She was so pissed off. Apparently, true story. She had asked me. They were calling me through the intercom for who knows how long, an hour. She was panicked, and she was freaked out.
Right.
And she I'm gone.
Right.
I was so focused on the video game that I couldn't hear the intercom, and all the photos of him pulled me from she was so pissed off, yanked from the ear, and I'm probably maybe 10, 11, 10. So there's a scene in that movie that kind of took me back to that time too, where the kid goes in the store and she's playing,
Though out of curiosity, now,
And
is
the
that
thing
what,
kinda
did she ever
tempts him.
mention it to you and saying like, okay, this is why you can't have a video game. You just zone everything out. You don't listen to me. Is that what she said?
No.
Okay.
I think at that time I already had a video game.
Oh, okay.
But I was just love the game so much.
But
We go
see,
to the store and
that's
Okay, are we ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was Lon's movie. Okay.
No,
My movie.
It's Bob.
Oh, Bob.
No,
No,
we
he
started
told
out
me.
with me.
Yeah.
But
but it's George's
He said,
movie.
no, he
Oh,
said,
talking
Right.
about.
didn't you just say you
Give
loved
Give a
it?
number. Just give a number.
Love Actually. Right?
No.
No.
8-bit.
Oh, 8-bit. Oh,
He already
no, I
said
did
it.
talk
He
about
did. He
that.
did.
No,
talk
no,
about
no.
it.
Rating it.
We're rating it.
How much did you give it?
Yes.
Oh, how much did I give it? Oh, I'll give that one a 10.
Oh, wow.
Hold
Yeah.
the big back.
9.
10.
Wow. I gave it a 5.
Of course you did.
So I'll give it a 10.
Wow.
Okay,
Yes.
she has to take the.
Okay, so we'll be back.